Now we're going to practice applying the properties of logarithms we've learned. So we're going to first work on expanding these as much as possible. So for number 1 here, we have log base a of 4 times x times w cubed. Now the first thing we'll notice is that we're multiplying all 3 of these things together, 4x and y cubed. So we're first going to write this as the sum of 3 logarithms, log base a of 4 plus log base a of x plus log base a of y cubed. Now, one last thing that we can do, by the power rule, we can bring this 3 down. So our final answer, the most kind of expanded we could do, is log base a of 4 plus log base a of x plus 3 log base a of y. Okay, this next one we have log base b of p squared times q cubed over r to the 5th. Now, anything in the numerator we're multiplying, we're going to put a plus between that. And then our term that we're dividing, we're going to subtract. Okay, so we're going to write this as log base b of p squared plus log base b of q cubed minus log base b of r to the 5th. Now, with the power rule, we can bring each of these exponents down. So our final answer will be 2 log base b of p plus 3 log base b of q minus 5 log base b of r. Okay, we've got one more where we're going to expand here. We have natural log of the square root of x to the 8th over w to the 4th z cubed. Now the first thing we need to do before we can expand it is rewrite the square root as an exponent. And remember, the square root is the same as having an exponent of 1/2. So we can write this as natural log of x to the 8th over w to the 4th z cubed to the 1/2 power. Now, the first thing we're going to do is use our power rule and bring the 1/2 down. Now, 1/2 is going to be multiplied by everything else that we expand. So we're going to put parentheses as we expand the rest of it. Now, just like we did in the one before, anything in the numerator we're going to write with a plus, so we're going to have natural log of x to the 8th, and then we need to subtract the 2 things that are in the denominator, minus natural log of w to the 4th minus natural log of z cubed. Now we can bring our powers down. So we'll have 1/2 times 8 natural log of x minus 4 natural log of w minus 3 natural log of z. And the last thing we can do is distribute our 1/2. So we have 1/2 times 8, so that'll give us 4 natural log of x. 1/2 times negative 4, so minus 2 natural log of w. And 1/2 times negative 3 minus 3/2 natural log of z. Okay, now we can also go the other way if we want to simplify things into one logarithm. So this says express as a single logarithm and simplify if possible. So here we have natural log of 1000 minus natural log of 100. Now when we're subtracting, when we turn it into one logarithm, we're going to divide. So we'd have natural log of 1000 divided by 100. It just becomes 1 log, and you're dividing the 2 arguments. So this becomes natural log of 1000 divided by 100 is 10. Okay. Next we have 2 log of x plus 5 log of w. Well, the power rule tells us that we can bring both of these things that we're multiplying by out in front up as powers. So that would be log of x squared plus log of y to the 5th. And now since we're adding in between these, that means we can turn it into one log where we multiply. So x squared y to the 5th. Now I should mention that this only works, you can only combine these if they're logs with the same base. So that's all we have here, but if you had one thing that was log base 2 plus another thing that was log base 3, you couldn't combine them. They have to be the same base. Okay, here we have natural log of 3x plus 4 times natural log of x minus natural log of 5. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is distribute this 4 just to help us write this out. So we have natural log of 3x plus 4 natural log of x minus 4 natural log of y. And like we've seen before with the power rule, we can make these powers on our argument. So natural log of 3x, we can't make that one a power because it's not out in front. It's in the argument. So that doesn't become a power. It's only when it's out in front of the whole log. So plus natural log of x to the 4th minus natural log of y to the 4th. Now, the things that we're adding when we combine this into one logarithm are going to go in our numerator. So our first term, the 3x, and the x to the 4th. And then anything we're subtracting is going to go in the denominator. Now the one last thing we can do to simplify is multiply the x times the x to the 4th. So we have natural log of 3x to the 5th over y to the 5th. Okay, we have one more here. We have log of x squared minus x minus 20 minus log of x plus 4. Okay, so since we're subtracting, we can make this into one log of x squared minus x minus 20 divided by x plus 4. Now, if we factor our numerator here, we see that it factors as x plus 4 and x minus 5. So we can cancel the x plus 4s. The only thing we want to be careful of here is that here when we're dividing by the x plus 4, that would mean x could not be equal to negative 4. Now, if we look at what we finally get here, log of x minus 5, well, what's the domain of that? The domain here, you would have to make sure that x minus 5 is greater than 0. So x would have to be greater than 5. Well, since x already has to be greater than 5, we don't have to worry about it not being negative 4. So, otherwise we'd have a hole here, but since it's already not in the domain, we don't have to worry. But you do, if you are canceling stuff out with x's, you'd want to make sure that you put any domain restrictions on.